Shields up, Ironbreakers. Rurikhan here, coming at you with another video, and welcome back to Monster Hunter World. In today's video, I would like to make the case for what I believe to be an underused weapon, and this is because I've done a couple of SOSs, I've played with a lot of the Ironbreakers, and very rarely do I actually see people playing the Lance. Now, there's a wide variety of factors at play here because, for instance, the Lance is a weapon that I've always wanted to use, but I kind of fell more in love with the Sword and Shield starting early on because it was a little bit more agile, and I just like the playstyle a little bit better. I like the fact that I could shield slam monsters repeatedly, and it was just a much more satisfying playstyle for me when I started playing Monster Hunter World. Interestingly enough, later down the line, I came to discover that a lot of people actually didn't care that much for me playing Sword and Shield, instead preferring that I would play the flashier weapons like the Charge Blade, the Gun Lance. And make no mistake, I love the Gun Lance. I think it's a fantastic weapon, and it is definitely one of my favorite weapons in the game. But the Charge Blade, for instance, is not so much. Like, I still really enjoy Charge Blade, and as a matter of fact, I've done like, I don't know, 6, 7 different builds for Charge Blade so that I could use all of the elements and elementless, and you don't do that kind of stuff when you unless you actually enjoy the weapon that you're playing. But the interesting thing here is that I never really played the Lance, despite the fact that I really wanted to, and I tried it out a little bit during the beta, never really went too in depth with it. Then I played a little bit of it to do the Lance video to give you guys some tips on it and stuff, where I showed all of the moves and the way that I think the Lance should be played. And I gotta be honest, I started playing the Lance last night, and good God, if that is not one of the most satisfying weapons I've played so far. Like, and I'm talking like, because of course, for doing the video that I did earlier, I played a little bit of the Lance. I'm talking like, no, last night I started going a little bit more in depth. I started actually crafting out a set for the Lance and all this other stuff. And I know you guys are going to be like, no, Rurikhan, but my insect glaive, my switch axe, and all these other builds that you were going to do. Don't you worry about a thing. I'm already currently working on a build for the insect glaive because I know that a lot of you guys want to see an insect glaive build out of me. I've also been working on a bow build because just because I wanted to do a bow build, because I've been telling everyone that I feel the bow is overpowered, and I figured it's time to put my money where my mouth is and show people why the bow is overpowered. And my bow build has actually turned out to be extremely interesting. But then to top it off, I'm also working on redoing my Gun Lance build a little bit to not be as just about damage and actually focus on a different skill set. But dude, when I started playing the Lance, it just makes so much sense. I just love standing there and just raising my shield like a proper Ironbreaker and just stoically face off against the monster and really be like, go on, try it. Just fucking try me. Just like actually banging against my shield like you see in the movies and shit. Just like, yeah, bring it on. And I don't know, there's just something about that savage playstyle where you can actually be right in front of a monster and just like take the brunt of all of his biggest attacks. Well, maybe not all of them, because some of them you can't block unless you have the 4-piece Rurikhan set bonus or the charm that does the same thing. But to be honest, I don't want to use that. Like, there are certain attacks that I would just rather evade out of and actually not get hit by. But just the fact that you can block so many things, and you can counter them, and you have the special mega super protection block, and you can charge through monsters. It's so cool that it really blows my mind why more people don't try this weapon out. And as a matter of fact, one of the reasons why I did this video is because I would like to suggest that all of you that watch this video try out playing the Lance thing. Try it out and let me know what you thought about actually playing this weapon. And I'm going to give you a couple of reasons as to why you should try this weapon out. So the first one is, and this one's a very basic one, it's got the best shield in the game. Flat out. Best shield in the whole goddamn game. Okay? On top of that, you can use that shield to counter monster attacks. And let me tell you, if you've never done this, you know, maybe you've been up against Diablos or something. Maybe you've been up against a certain monster that really annoys you because there's that one thing that that monster does that just deals a lot of damage. It stuns you. Super annoying. Like, seriously. Craft yourself a Lance. Like, any lance really, because the good thing about the lance is that it supports a wide variety of playstyles. Like, whereas, for instance, you go to the Charge Blade, and you know that one of the most viable playstyles that you're going to get is the Tyrannus, okay? And I know people are going to say, oh, but the other... Listen, I know. I've done the Charged Elements build, and I'm actually working on reworking the Charged Element builds to even be a little bit better. So I like the Elemental playstyle as well, okay? I get it. I'm just letting you know that, like, for people that really want big numbers, you know, the Tyrannus is still going to be the Charge Blade that they're going to go for. And the Lance is actually really good for the Elemental playstyle because of the motion values on its attacks and because of how fast you can actually poke at a monster and how easy it is for you to actually strike specific positions in that monster. And elemental damage just kind of favors everything about the Lance, in my opinion. Because you're hitting repeatedly, you're hitting pretty fast most of the times. And the fact that your motion values are not super exaggerated like other weapons, you know, elemental damage is going to be a pretty good boon. So you do have advantage going for the elemental playstyles, and that's something that I personally want to do. So you got the best shield in the game, you can do the elemental thing, or you can go... Actually, I'm even thinking about going for the ailments. Because, you know, considering how fast you usually go with the Lance, you go like poke, 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 poke. You can really get a lot of ailments going, you know? I mean, not a lot of ailments going. You can really get your ailment of choice going on the monster consistently. Even though with diminishing returns and all that, eventually you won't be able to, but it just... it feels that you can get that stuff going often, more often than maybe other weapons. I mean, of course, nothing's going to beat the duels because they're super fast and all that, but I'm not a huge fan of the mechanics of the duels because I feel that they're a little bit oversimplified in a lot of ways. And look, I'm not trying to insult dual blade users. I mean, more power to you. It's like whatever weapon you like using, it's valid. I'm just trying to make a case for the Lance here. Now, the other thing that I would tell you that you definitely need to try out is that sweet Lance charge. So you can even mount from neutral with the Lance by using the Lance charge, because you can jump, and all the attacks that you do while you're jumping are actually going to count as mounting damage, which enables you to go ahead and mount the monster with the Lance, which is pretty damn good. But on top of it, just like going through a monster, just like straight up charging through him, assuming that you have enough sharpness, which is something that I'm working into my build. I'm working into getting handicraft, which is also the reason why I don't want to show the build yet. I kind of don't feel that it's finished. But I'm definitely building handicraft into that build, and I'm going to try to just like get the sharpness to white as often as possible. You guys know that I've gotten my sharp gem not so long ago, which enables me to keep that sharpness white, and it's just so good when you actually get that charge and you're just like ramming it into the monster's face. I cannot tell you guys how satisfying that stuff is. Like, seriously, guys, try playing the Lance. If you've never played it before, just try it out. Like, if you don't know what the combos are, if you don't know how you should be playing it, if you just don't know how the Lance actually functions, my video should give you guys the basics, my Lance tips. I'm going to link it probably somewhere in this video in the top right corner, I think. You should have an icon there that you can click, and it will take you to the other video. And just watch that, check it out, and just seriously try playing Lance. Just for fun. Just for fun. And once you've tried it, I want you to come back here, and I want you to leave it in the comments. Did you like it? Did you not like it? And why? I'm thinking about doing a couple of videos for weapons that I feel are underrepresented. And another one of those would actually be the Sword and Shield. Because you guys know that I love Sword and Shield. And I think it's one of the most fun weapons. But I just really wanted to get this out there. Like seriously, I started playing it last night. So satisfying. Just try it out. Try it out. Let me know how it worked out. Thank you very much for watching this video. And I'll see you guys in the next one.